after my video on the FireHat, which adds a FireWire port to a Raspberry Pi, I had tested some mini DV cameras in that video and they worked great, but a lot of people were asking if other FireWire devices, like an iSight camera or an old hard drive or an audio interface, would work out of the box with this thing, or even with just a FireWire PCI Express card and a Raspberry Pi, because that could offer an easy way for people to get old devices working again, make them useful again, or to recover old data like off these old FireWire hard drives without having to have an entire old Mac running, consuming 120 watts at idle. This whole setup, you can see it's running on a battery right now. This runs at 4 watts at idle, which is much more efficient. And if you have a Raspberry Pi sitting around, this could be a cool way to archive things. But anyway, that's what I'm going to try in this video. And first of all, I have to see if all these things work. I actually turned on this hard drive and it was not turning on at all. I took it apart. I found out that inside one of the capacitors, well, there's only 2 in there, but one of them was bulging and was bad, and the power rail was only giving 2.2 watts or something. So I replaced that capacitor. I retested everything. It was giving me 5 volts, or close enough at least. And now this should work. I'm going to turn it on. And well, the LED is still dim in here, so I think that the switch might also be bad on here. If I mess with the switch a little bit, yeah, if I wiggle the switch, the hard drive starts spinning up. So it should pop in up here if it, there it is. Okay, so iMac backup. This was an old FireWire drive that I got from my dad. That's nice and quiet, but I think the reason why that capacitor broke was because there's no fan in there, so the thing just cooks if you leave it running all day. So that works. The next thing I'm going to try out is the iSight. And I might write a note on here that says, like, next time maybe work on the switch a little bit and make sure that that's working correctly. Now, I've never owned an iSight. This is actually one that I bought off eBay that's supposedly open box, which we'll see. The box has definitely been open and mangled a bit, so I don't know how good condition this will be, but we'll see. Enjoy. Oh, those are just stands for it. Little there's a desk stand, I guess, and that's like a wall stand. Oh yeah, there's a sticker. I don't think that, I wouldn't trust that nowadays. And some other stand for it that I don't know what that does. Maybe an adapter for a monitor or something. We won't worry about that right now. Here it is, the iSight. And it does look like it's in brand new condition, so that's good. There's you can see that this is literally just a FireWire port on the bottom. The reason this was so cool back then was there weren't cameras that were really decent quality, and you also often had to have power separate from the data plug. So having a FireWire port that would give you both was pretty novel at the time. I never was able to afford a nice iSight camera, but I think the other feature, yeah, look at that. So the other feature was this was one of the first cameras that I remember seeing that had a privacy shutter built in. So you could just do that and make sure that it couldn't see you. Let's see what else we have. There's a little case for it. That's funny. So I guess you can do that, and oh wow, there's some positive pressure in there, so interesting. But I'm looking for the cable. Look at that, you don't see one of these every day. A brand new, fresh, not sticky feeling cable with all the wrap still on it. I'm not going to use that. I'll go ahead and keep using this one that I used for the hard drive. And then what is this? I guess that's like a cable holder thing or something. I don't know. If you know what this thing is, in the comments let me know. I could look it up in the manual, but I'm too lazy for that. So it goes like this. And there's a green light. And I heard a sound. Hey, look at this. Oh, iChat. Huh. Been a while since I've seen that. No, I don't want to do that. Will this work? Oh, wow. That looks absolutely horrible. I got a haircut, you can see. But yeah, there you go. Yeah, this is not going to rival my Sony camera in terms of quality. But I think it did have autofocus and some other fancy features like that. And it just looks really cool. So anyway, we're going to try this on the Pi and see what we get out of it. I don't know if it just gives you a raw video stream or what. And I've never used anything besides DV Grab on Linux with FireWire. So I'm going to check out, let's see, Linux FireWire list devices. Is there like a df-h or something? Okay, so we see this, Linux FireWire Juju, but I don't see the, I don't see this guy. I'll unplug the iSight. Oh wow, it's kind of hard to unplug it there. Okay, I unplugged it and still seeing that. I don't know if the iSight will work out of the box here. It's not lighting up or anything. And I see nothing else on here, so we're going to call that a maybe not on the iSight itself. But now I have a little museum artifact, fun little iSight sitting there. Okay, we're going to try this hard drive and see if Linux can see it. So plug it in, and can you see this? Level 2 Jeff videos, I'm not quite as good about framing things and making sure that you can actually see what I'm doing. I'm going to turn it on. Hard drive is not spinning up yet. There you go, now it's spinning up. You just got to wiggle the power switch a little bit and then it pops right up. So let's see, there we go. So we are getting this prolific PL3507 and it sees that there's a FireWire ATA ATAPI drive. So let's see if we see it. LSBLK. Nope, it's not in here. Okay, so I'm going to say that the hard drive will probably work, but I don't think I have SCSI enabled in this Raspberry Pi's kernel. And I could recompile the kernel and get that going, but I'm going to say that this will probably work. But on the flip side, this is formatted as an HFS Plus drive, I think, from the old days on a Mac. So to read that, you'd also need to do some extra annoying things on here, and I'm not going to do that. I have proven that you can see the device, but I haven't proven that you can read and write to it, especially an old Mac hard drive. But if you do have FireWire 400 devices, I don't have any audio interfaces, unfortunately, to test with this, but if it has Linux drivers, it looks like it should just work. Very cool hat, very flexible, and if it weren't for the Raspberry Pi prices, this would be even more interesting. But for a lot of projects that you'll use this for, you don't need a 4 gig Pi 5. You don't need a 8 gig or 16 gig. You could get by with the 1 or 2 gig, which is much more affordable and still a decent value for certain uses. Anyway, level 2 Jeff, I have tested now the iSight and a hard drive on the FireHat. Okay, well, I was going to be finished with this video, but I found this. I can never leave something alone. I found this blog post from Raleigh's blog, and it looks like I might be able to get the iSight working as long as I have the right kernel modules compiled in. So I'm going to, of course, recompile the Linux kernel, and yes, I'll show you the shirt that I have for that on the screen. If you recompile the Linux kernel as much as I do, then go buy that shirt. Anyway, I'm going to do that, and I'll be back to you, and we'll see if we can get this iSight working on the Pi. Alas, that doesn't seem to have made a difference. I didn't really need to recompile Linux again for this, but it never lights up green, so what I'm wondering is maybe the voltages on here are only working with like hard drives and cameras and things, and maybe this is requiring some voltage that's not present on something, I don't know. And yeah, it's open. I've wiggled the little front lens thing because sometimes if you close it, it cuts off power, I think, but that wasn't it. And I found some more documentation from other sites talking about how to use it, and I'm doing everything correctly and it's not working. So that doesn't work, but I did compile in the storage driver, so let me go grab the hard drive and see if I can actually see it as a storage volume now. Okay, hard drive is plugged in. Let's wiggle the switch. There we go. It's spinning up. And let's see what we get here. It should have shown up by now, I think. Uh-oh. It just spun back down. Why'd you do that? Okay, it's spinning up. Let me try instead to watch, well, I'll just follow dmessage. Okay, I'm going to try to unplug FireWire. Yeah. Okay, and try plugging it back in. You have no idea how annoying it is to do these things while you're holding a camera. Plug it in. Okay, we got some stuff going on here. I see SCSI There we go, attached SCSI disk. All right, let's see if this works. LSBLK, do we have it? There it is, SDA 200 gigabytes. That's actually a pretty big hard drive for the FireWire era. But there you go. I think my dad used this as a backup drive for one of the old Macs that they had running it at home. So now I could, if I install the right utilities, get that to mount as an HFS Plus volume and extract things off of it in Linux. Very cool. Or just use it as a hard drive, a 200 gigabyte hard drive that is probably extremely slow and very old, so I wouldn't trust it too much. But yeah, there you go. We got storage working. We did not get the iSight working, and I don't know why. But that's with this hat. With other cards, maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. I'm not going to guarantee anything when you're using 25-year-old technology, but we do have more functionality out of this hat already. Very cool. Again, I'll see you next time. Level 2 Jeff.